Hey guys, Miss Jagger here, and welcome back to Armoured Warfare. It has been a time since I last played this game. I do apologise on that one, but in all honesty, the reason why I haven't really been playing it is simply because during the early access period of this game, the game's developers, Obsidian Entertainment, decided to just, well, whenever they were making a new phase of the development, they decided simply to just like reset the accounts of the players in this game. So it would result in my account being reset, which meant that like particular tanks that I wasn't so keen on, I'd have to play again and do the same thing like multiple times over. So I wasn't exactly too keen on that. And after a while, it kind of gets a bit the samey. So I was a bit like, okay, maybe I should kind of wait until something like a beta or an open beta comes out. And what do you know? The Emperor was listening, and we are now in the open beta for Armoured Warfare, which is awesome. I'm very much looking forward to the future of this game. It's looking pretty good. But today's video is going to be kind of a talky one, because today I'm going to talk to you guys about dispelling the theories that World of Tanks has about Armoured Warfare. In the sense that, because I keep hearing cases where people from World of Tanks and from people who play it just stating that Armoured Warfare is just, you know, World of Tanks in modern times, and that there is little to no difference or whatever. But to be honest with you, yes, I will agree that the potential, like the original theory / the way that it kind of works is with regards to which armoured vehicles are going into battle against other armoured vehicles is similar to World of Tanks. But everything else, like even down to some things as maintenance of the vehicles, gaining experience, and building up your roster of tanks, is different to World of Tanks. And as such, I thought today's video it would be kind of cool just to talk to you about some of the things that are different from World of Tanks, and hopefully it might end up convincing you about having a go at this game yourself and seeing if whether or not you would like to play it more. Before we go on, though, I will just mention this is a beta. You know, not everything you see here is guaranteed to be exactly the same by the time this game finally goes to live play, whenever that's due. So, you know, don't expect it all to be finished just because you can now download it. There are some things that aren't working quite correctly. There are some things that, you know, may take time to sort out, texture issues, you know, any kind of stuff like that. You know, things like that, you know, it's a beta. It's not perfect, it's not finished. You know, it's open, but don't expect it to be completely finished. So, without further ado, let's get started by dispelling the myths and theories of this game and telling you what you need to know about Armoured Warfare. So, what you need to know in Armoured Warfare. Now, I'm just going to assume a lot of you are World of Tanks players, so I don't need to really go into major details about every little aspect of the UI. You're more or less familiar with this particular thing. What I'm going to be doing is simply just giving you guys the differences in these particular things. So, first of all, though, there's one thing I just wanted to say, especially as, you know, super now, like absolute goddammit now is what we're going to be talking about, which is the fact that there isn't any gold shells or consumables. You know, the only things you can spend gold on are premium time, premium tanks, converting your gold for cash, for experience and renown or whatever. It literally, that is all you can spend money on, real life money on. You know, and we all know if you're shit at this game, no money will save you from getting any better experience. You know, that's it. You know, certain, you know, premium tanks, you know what? You know, having a premium tank does not mean that you're instantly better. You know, it's a lie. There is no gold. There is no gold consumables. If we have a look at the consumables, there are no gold consumables. Shells, there are no gold shells. In fact, you can unlock every single shell in this in any tank here. All the shells that are being fired, people can unlock playing them, you know. No different to unlocking certain guns in World of Tanks. That's how it is. You know, that's simply how it is. There is no premium shell. So, you know, just dispelling that theory, because I've heard a fair amount. I've heard some people whilst playing this game have sort of said, "Oh, freaking gold spammers," and "Oh yeah, I love the gold," and it's just like, no, there is no gold. There is no gold. Seriously, no gold, no golden shells, no golden consumables, no golden bullshit. You know, it's just hard-earned skill, or at least To a certain extent, there's hard-earned skill. But either way, the point I'm trying to make here is that there is no, for some people who think that this is just a copycat, no, that's the first thing that is different. You'll notice there is no gold for that. Seems a little over the top, but I just wanted to refine the point to a fine-tooth comb, Okay, so what else is different? Well, now that we're sort of talking on, in the sense of consumables and shells and whatnot, let's talk about the shells. Now, in Armoured Warfare, you do gain a number, you do work with more modern types of shells. Now, for sort of ease of understanding, the way that this particular game works is you've got a variety of types of shells that work. You've obviously got your armor-piercing, your high-explosive anti-tank, not gold, and your high-explosive. Now, obviously, any of you guys out there who have had experience in this thing may realize, yeah, that's no different to like other things. But how these work is very different. With certain tanks, depending on what you're shooting at, armor piercing may not be the best option. As for example, if you're shooting an armor piercing shell into the side of a light tank, you may find a little message saying over penetrated, which basically means whilst you've hit your target and done some damage, the amount of armor slash part of the tank is so, thin that the shell simply just passed straight through and did minimal damage, meaning that the person you're shooting at is basically going to keep firing, and potentially will kill you. So this is where heat comes into it, because whilst heat on the scans here, or stats here, say it has a lesser penetration, it does have more alpha than an armor-piercing shot. Now that doesn't mean you can just spam high-explosive anti-tank and just hope that, your pen. You do need to have certain types of shells for certain types of situations. High-explosive can be useful just for doing, just for hitting and damaging your opponents. That's how it can be. Obviously, personally, I do enjoy using heat, because if in certain scenarios I'm engaged by multiple light tanks, I can really start doing a lot of damage. But then again, at the same time, I also can easily switch back to my original amount of shells. So, once again, no gold, but you have to have your brain on in order to understand which, in order to know which shell to use for what scenario. Because in certain scenarios, you may find that certain tanks are, will bounce off heat shells. Most heavy most mainline battle tanks will bounce off heat shells. And if you hit in the wrong spaces of certain other tanks, which normally you would have penned and done some damage, instead you bounce off and do absolute buggereth all. Okay, so now that I've thrown the gold message out there enough to a fine-tooth comb, let's talk about something else. The shells. Now, I did say that there are no gold shells, and this is still true. There are no gold shells. You can unlock, once again, everything from the upgrade section. But what I will talk to you about is how the shell mechanics work in this game. Because you may find that whilst playing certain tanks, you'll be engaging one opponent, which you'll be penetrating and doing damage with your standard AP shell, and the next minute you'll be shooting at another person, and you keep getting this message saying over-penetrated or overmatched. Well, over-penetrated, overmatched, quite similar to World of Warships, or, this came technically first, basically states that your shell, armor-piercing-wise, has too much penetration and has simply gone through your target and smacked into the other side. Now, this can, of course, lead to the hilarious scenario where you can penetrate one person and kill the next. But what this mainly means in most normal scenarios is that your shell does minimal damage, thus giving your opponent another chance to fight. This is where utilizing stuff like heat shells may apply a little, may provide a little bit more assistance, as high explosive anti-tank shells, not gold, may find, you may find that it has less penetration, but it does have more, damage, which means, the explosion will spread around the tank and actually do a lot more damage. Depending on what certain type of tanks you're driving, this may range from just a slightly bit more to, holy shit, he died in one shot. So it's certainly a good idea to have multiple types of shell on your tank just in case. I myself need to load some high explosive, as I've realized just working with high explosive anti-tank and armor piercing isn't really cutting it out for me. So, now that we've had to talk about the ammo and the consumables and the fact that there is no gold between them, let's talk about something that Armoured Warfare does differently to World of Tanks that you will be familiar with. Upgrades. Now in Armoured Warfare, you don't actually upgrade any of your modules. You know, you don't start this tank out with a small gun. Instead, you upgrade the little tiny bits inside, like the engine, the type of shell you use, and some of the equipment for universal slot. Basically, all the kind of stuff that would probably have gone on to this particular tank as a slight upgrade in time. You know, realistic upgrades, if you will. And the cool thing about this game is that you don't when it comes to eliting this vehicle and then being able to progress onto the other vehicle, which in this game term is basically known as renown. Unlike World of Tanks, where you spend experience not only on upgrading your vehicles to get better stuff, but also to get a better vehicle, you can pretty much now have the best of both worlds. So not only can you get experience for your vehicle to upgrade it, but you can also keep earning experience on what is known as your renown bar. So basically, as you're playing through the tank, you'll not only earn experience through the vehicle, unspent vehicle reputation, which basically means experience for the vehicle, to upgrade it, but you'll also be earning it on the renown bars, so that basically, even if a particular vehicle that you're not really enjoying, you can still upgrade it and make it better, but your renown bar will still go up. It won't go down because you've bought a better engine or a better shell or whatever. You know, it will still keep going up and up and up until you hit the renowned section, whereupon then you can then buy the next tank, which is pretty awesome. So that is actually quite nice. One of the reasons what I like about this game over World of Tanks in the sense, because you can make progress no matter what you do, and on this occasion it actually makes sense. Another thing that Armoured Warfare does, similar to World of Tanks but improves upon that and adds better variety, is what is known as a retrofit system. Basically, for ease of remembrance, this is the equipment point. Now in World of Tanks you have three slots, which you have either vents, rammer, or gun. Vents, rammer, or gun lane, drive, or some other kind of thing for equipment. Now, in Armoured Warfare, depending on what kind of tank and tier you've got, for example, because I'm low tier, I only have access to 2, but if I was going to go to my tier 6 vehicle, I would have 3 slots available, and I imagine if I was at my tier 8 vehicle, I would have all 4 slots available. With your vehicles and all that, you actually get a much better choice. If I go tier 6, yeah. So with your vehicles and retrofits, you get a variety of different choices to upgrade your vehicles, unlike in World of Tanks. Another cool thing about this is that you don't get these instantaneously. What you actually have to do is you have to play a variety of other tanks before you gain access to these sort of things. And the general basis for these particular tanks is quite simply extra shit to put onto your tank when you've unlocked these particular things. So, for example, the four different groupings, you've got something which provides either more health for your crew, your tank for ammunition rack, for firepower, obviously either increasing accuracy and stability or reload time. For mobility, it's probably better engine cooling, supercharger, so you get an extra 10% for other things. So, and bearing in mind you don't get any of these straight off the beat. As you can see here, I have to get a proven status with each of these vehicles. So basically, I've got to get to at least, let's have a look, to this point here before I can get the ability, for example, to use... Where is it? If I go to my retrofits, firepower. I need to get to proven status with the Leopard before I gain access to the chrome barrel lining, which gives me a little bit more accuracy and a little bit better damage. So, with that in mind, that's something which then sort of inspires players RPG-like to work towards. So if it's like I want to get as much damage as possible, I need to go for that. I think somewhere on some upgrades, I can... What is it? Yeah, there it is, another damage thing. Basically, this one, it was just hilariously awesome. Additional high precision... this particular upgrade requires me to play artillery to get extra aim time and extra damage. So, if you want to become, make your tank all-out damage wagon, then you can do so. But you need to play other tanks in order to do it. And it's just little things like that that make me think that's actually quite nice, because it means then it forces players to try a variety of vehicles that they would previously not try because of upgrading other parts, which means then at least you can broaden your horizons. Another cool thing that Armoured Warfare does separately from World of Tanks is the way that you can get vehicles. Now, it's not a major difference, but it is a nice little touch. In Armoured Warfare at the moment, you only have 2 combat dealers, and there are no nations, just to reiterate the point. It's simply a variety of vehicles by 2 dealers. So one guy's called Shiskin, and there's another one called Wolfie. Both of these have different types of tanks, so there's no real major difference. There are differences in certain things, but there aren't any differences in other regards. It's a matter of personal preference. Now, a cool thing here is the fact that you can actually gain access to certain blocks of vehicles, which then allow you, which then create a tech tree for you to work down. So, unlike, for example, World of Tanks, where I'd have to get the M113, then to drive through the LAV 150. Instead, all I'd have to do is just drive either the M113 as much as I want. Or in my case, which I was fortunate because I had previously bought the the Leader of War pack, I simply played a variety of missions and games with my premium tanks, and I was able to unlock the different blocks of vehicles for me to unlock and buy myself. And you could do this with your normal tanks. Just because I had premiums, all it was this. I simply, if you drive this thing, you can still grab... If you want to stick at Tier 1, then you can still get the wheeled destroyers, the recons, the BMP, the American MBTs. As you can see here, I've yet to unlock any of the artillery in this game. I still need to get a fair amount of experience on both, either through PvE or PvP, in order to unlock this. So, if you're not exactly fancying getting a line, if you're not a big fan of having to go through shitty vehicles or whatever, you can just go through one line or get a premium tank that you'd like the look of, play with that for a while, and then you can jump straight on in to any kind of tank line you want, and there's no sort of major obligation to have to go through other lines, which is pretty nice. It's a different take on it, which is kind of cool. Now, to round things off for today's episode, because I have been talking a fair amount, is to talk to you guys about the base. Now, this thing is actually kind of new, because it's not like Strongholds where it applies to you and everyone else. This only applies to you. And what the base simply works as is basically an ability for you to be able to, once you get the raw materials, which are supplied to you daily, I think 100 per day, as you can see. Once per day you will receive 100 raw materials to use to construct or upgrade base buildings. So what you will get to do in this particular line is be able to provide little mini bonuses for you to utilize in your game. So for example, I've got this repair thing which I've upgraded a couple of times, and as you can see, my repair cost now is minus 4%. So if I want to get even more, then what I need to do is get 450 raw materials, which I imagine will probably be... I don't think it will be, but I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if they made raw materials a buyable thing. If they don't, I will have respect for them, but at the same time, I imagine that could be a money-making-esque thing. This is kind of where like a mobile game comes into effect. Another thing here is, which is very intriguing, which at the moment is called Recon Post, which actually reduces the amount of time a premium day can cost. And I'm actually going to prove it to you, because as you can see here, it's slightly cheaper than to have what you might have. So it is possible to get cheaper premium time. Now, if they stick with that, I will be very impressed. But then again, once again, you never know what could happen. But regardless of that, it's still a possibility, and there's a variety of things. This one gives you how much free experience. This one increases how much money you can make. This one, it helps about crew experience. This one's about equipment cost. This one's for commander EXP, and and there's apparently other buildings as well that are due to come soon. And this is like a whole thing going on with this base. So that's kind of a cool thing. I imagine there'll be something to do with the docks at some point. But that's actually pretty damn cool. That's something nice, which if the developers keep up with this, which I am very curious about, we may yet see, A, a reason to come back to this game, and B, if they keep up with that Recon Post, we may yet see games where premium time is actually not so expensive anymore. Like, obviously it'll take you time to upgrade the Recon Post to a level where you can find that getting premium now is easily affordable. But, that said, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. So, hopefully this is going to give you at least a basic, here's what's different about the game, versus here's what you think is different about the game for Armoured Warfare. And I do appreciate I've been doing a lot of talking in this thing, So the next, if I do another episode, I will definitely be including some actual fighting and gameplay. But for the sort of first video of the week that I'm back, I thought let's start things off quite simply by me talking about a few differences that this game has over others. And I hope you guys appreciate the informative video. Obviously, there will be blood, guts, and gore in the next one, so don't worry. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. If you like this kind of content, do let me know in the comments section down below, clicking on the like button, and of course subscribing to the channel. Thank you very much once again for watching. This is Miss Jagger signing out. I'll catch you next time.